Hi, so I'm going to demonstrate here how to use VirtualBox and install Ubuntu 13 as one of the VMs. So I went to Ubuntu and I downloaded the desktop, and I actually chose the 64-bit because my laptop's actually the 64-bit. So my laptop here is actually an i5, a Core i5 Intel. And I installed VirtualBox. So what I'm actually going to do here is create a new VM, and I'm going to call it Ubuntu 13.04, which is the version number. And I'm going to give it 2 gigs because I actually have 8 gigs on this laptop. And I'm going to create a native VDI hard drive. So I'm going to choose create a new virtual hard drive, and I'm going to get a choice. So I'm going to create just the native Oracle format, Oracle VirtualBox format, which is the VDI. And I'm going to say I want it to grow dynamically versus actually have a fixed file size that will take up all that room. So I'm going to say 32 gigs here, and it's not going to take up 32 gigs unless the actual VM fills up the 32 gigs. And I want to put it in a certain place, and I'm going to create a folder of its own. And the reason why I'm doing that is because in case I want to add a second hard drive to this. So I'm going to call it Ubuntu 13.04, and I'm actually going to put in here in case I want to add a second hard drive. It won't be in with the other VMs. So I'm going to put all the hard drives related to that VM within that folder for this particular VM. So in case I have another virtual hard drive, and I'm going to hit create. Now I'm going to change some settings here. So it created the VDI file, and I'm going to choose the settings up at the top, and I'm going to change the display to have 64 megabytes of RAM, and I'm going to allow the remote desktop to be enabled. And I'm also going to map the network to the bridge adapter, meaning that my VM will actually have its own IP address via DHCP, and also be able to surf the web through that virtual network adapter. So those are the two things I've changed: the remote desktop, well, the video RAM, the remote display, which is later on I'm going to create a video that shows you how to actually remote desktop into your virtual machine versus just interacting with the virtual machine on within the program itself. So I'm going to start now. Just going to start up the machine, and it's going to prompt me for the initial CD-ROM that I want to, the initial operating system I want to install. So this actually gets mounted as a CD-ROM. So this is the version of Ubuntu that I downloaded, the ISO file, which is basically the image of the CD for the installation. So I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to click start, and it will boot off of that. So if you look here at devices, it's going to boot off of that CD-ROM image and start installing Ubuntu. So I'm just going to wait a little bit until the initial screen comes up. And there it is. It's going to come up soon, and it's going to ask me to install the software. So I could try it and run it straight from the CD, but I'm actually going to install it onto the hard drive. Does a couple of checks, and I am gonna click continue. And it's going to give me a few choices. I'm actually going to erase the disk. Remember, this is the VDI virtual hard drive that I created. So I believe I set it to be 32 gigs. I'm going to choose the first setting, which is just to erase the disk and install Ubuntu. Runs my time zone. It's fine. Keyboard layout. So I'm just hitting continue here. So I'm going to name this computer something, and just put a password here. Now it's going to copy all the files. So while it's doing that, I'm going to pause the video and let it do its thing, because it's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll be back when this is done. Well, while it's installing, I'm going to scroll through some of these features here. So this does, the initial install does come with Firefox, and I'll show you that later on. Music player, video editors, and basically the LibreOffice. Okay, so now let me pause again and wait until the installation is done. So it's about 5 minutes now, and I imagine the installation is just about done. Probably another minute more or two left here. So it does seem to download some of the latest packages from the internet, so you might actually want to have the internet connection still on while you're doing this. Okay, so it actually finished installing, and it's prompting me to restart, so I'm just going to click the restart here. And it looks like it's rebooting. And it's still rebooting. I don't know what's going on here, so I'm actually gonna just reset. And hopefully it'll boot up normally. But it just seems like it just got stuck there. I've actually installed this several times, and that's the first time it's happened, so I'm not sure if it's some of the updates, but we'll see if it installed properly. So Ubuntu's booting up now. I just want to double check. Okay, so that ISO file isn't mounted, so I am booting off the hard drive, and you'll see this is the boot up for the first time. And I'm going to type in my password, and it seems like it's ready to set up the desktop right now. I'm just waiting a little bit. Okay, so the test desktop has come up for the first time ever, and I'm actually gonna double check and see. I'm gonna go to the terminal. So I'll double check and see if I got an IP address. And it looks like I do have an IP address here, which is the 106, which is awesome. And I'm gonna try out the internet. So Firefox is coming up, and I actually pulled up Google. And I just want to test it out a little bit. And yeah, so this is looking pretty good. Okay, so there you go. That's the installation of Ubuntu 13 on a for a VM on Oracle VirtualBox. Thank you for watching.